So now we're going to analyze another passage from an official test in Cambridge IELTS 17 Academic. This is test 2, pages 37 and 38. If you have the book, you can open it and go to these pages and follow along. But if you don't, feel free to download these 2 or 3 pages in the PDF format using the link below in the description. So, to save time, I've already skimmed the passage. You know, before you even look at the questions, it is really important to skim through the text to learn about what it is all about. So we need to get a global picture of what the text is all about. Without that, looking at the questions could only be confusing. So don't ever do that. Instead, look at the title first, and then in the introduction, you can either read it completely if it's really short, or read the first sentence, and most importantly, the last sentence of the introduction is where the gist of the matter is introduced. So most writers write the main idea, the aim of the essay or the passage or article for that matter, in the thesis statement, which is the last sentence of the introduction. This is not always the case, but in most cases you'll find very valuable pieces of information here. Like in this case, the title says the Dead Sea Scrolls. Doesn't make any sense to me. So what should I do? Well, I can read the first sentence, like in late 1946 or early 1947. 3 teenagers were tending their goats and sheep near the... Okay, so it's a story of teenagers and goats. They were doing something, and what happened? It soon became clear that this was one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made. So this is a discovery. What kind of discovery? It's an archaeological discovery. Even if you don't know this word, don't worry. It doesn't really matter. It's a discovery anyway. So this seems to be a discovery. Fine. Do I need to read the paragraph completely? Not really. At least in this case, we have enough information to get an idea of what this passage is going to be about. Next paragraph, the origin of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which blah, blah, blah. Okay, this paragraph seems to be about the origin, and what seems to be debatable is the subject of, debate. Next, the majority of the text's Hebrew. So it was about... this paragraph seems to be about the language used in the text. So when it says text, it seems like this is a book or something, or some kind of writing. We'll find out more. The Dead Sea Scroll scrolls include fragments from every book of the Old Testament. Okay, so now it's clear that it's a book. So include every book. We underline these words as reminders about the content of each paragraph. Moving on, the writing, blah blah, is mostly in black. So this is it's all about the color apparently, and animal skin. So and also the color and the material apparently. All right, used, and then some of the Dead Sea Scrolls have been on interesting journeys. That's the content of the book. And then researchers restored and deciphered. Okay, so it's about how they worked on it. This is their scientific work on this whatever it is, the Dead Sea Scrolls. So now together we have skimmed the passage in a matter of 1 to 3 minutes. That's the maximum amount of time worth spending on the skimming stage. And then we quickly go to the questions we have. So from questions 1 to 13. We're dealing with 2 types of questions here. Complete the notes and true, false, and not given questions. You should know the question types very well. Some question types have this beautiful feature of being in order. And, true, false, not given questions are one of them. Meaning, if I find question 10 and then maybe 13, then 11 and 12 will have to be between 10 and 13. So you can find them in order in the text. Therefore, this is a good question type to start with. We don't have to start with the first question simply because it's number 1. Remember that. I can't stress this enough. But in this case, we have note completion tasks, a note completion task 2. Now, which means in this type of questions, we are given a title. Sometimes the title is very specific and takes us to the right area in the text, and then everything will be found in that specific area. But in this case, the Dead Sea Scrolls is the exact same thing as the title of the text, so we can't be sure where it is from. Therefore, I wouldn't start with this. I would prefer to start with this. So these are in order, but these are typically from a certain area in the text. Not necessarily one paragraph, but a couple of paragraphs near each other. Now, all right, let's start with the true, false, not given questions. Again, we don't have to start with number 6 if we don't know where this information is. But looking quickly at the first one, we have teenagers. I remember where it was because as I was skimming, I came across the word teenagers and their story. And also, we can look at the last question, which is the academics at the University of Haifa. How to decipher. Remember that academic section, research section? So this seems to be from the last paragraph, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just make sure. University of Haifa, is it here? Yeah, it's here. Restoring, deciphering. So this is question 13. And question what was that? Question 6 is from these teenagers. So that's bad news, actually. It means that we're going to have to deal with the whole text from 6 to 13. But don't worry. These are definitely in passage order, meaning if I find number 6 at the very beginning of the text, 7 will be after it, and 8 after. So we can go down like that, or we can jump from here to there. We have these numbers to scan for. There's a lot to find. So this is a relatively easy passage with easy questions. Okay, so just as a sample, I'm going to do the first one. So these teenagers who found the scrolls were disappointed by how little money they received for them. Let's check. Okay. So far, there's no mention of... Here. Teenagers took the seven scrolls to a nearby town where they were sold for a small sum to a local antiquities dealer. So, the question says... What was that? Okay, the question says... We're disappointed by how little money. So we know that they received very little money. But were they disappointed? Do we have any information about their feelings? Let's check again to make sure. Doesn't seem to be about... There seems to be nothing about their feelings. Yep. So that's not given. All right, so... They received very little money, that's true. They were teenagers, that's true. Everything is true about this. But because one piece of information from the sentence is not given, then the whole thing is rendered not given. You can write NG directly on the answer sheet, or if you're taking IELTS on computer, you just select the NG or type the NG in the field. All right, so after number 6, you can go on to 7 or 8, or you can just jump to 13 because we know where this information is. It's in the last paragraph, so why not? So the point is, you don't have to answer them in order. The answers come in order, so we can benefit from this fact. But if you find something easier like to deal with, like if you find number 11, for example, easy to handle because of the scannable terms, well, go ahead and answer this one. Then the bad ones will be found in between. Okay, let's just move on to the notes completion task here. Like I said, this is not going to help because it's not any specific terms. It's actually only the title of the text itself. Now, we have the discovery. So this is definitely from the first few paragraphs of the text, especially the first one. The first paragraph is about discovery. So we have these shepherds, those teenagers. We don't need this information. Heard a noise of breaking when one teenager threw... Okay, threw what? So one teenager threw something. What was that? Tossed... Okay, see, one of these young shepherds tossed a rock into... Okay, so the answer is obviously a rock. So we need to spell it correctly. It's R-O-C-K-S. Oh, sorry, rock. A rock. Pay close attention to this. And by the way, because it says one word only, you have to keep this in mind and not write any more than one word, even if the text allows us to do so. Even if the text gives us more than one word, you need to select the keyword and write only that single item. Because of this letter, article A has to be singular. And we can go on like that. I was just trying to demonstrate it, so I'm not going to answer all the questions for you. But that's the style. Sorry, one more thing I want to mention here about these items. They're not necessarily in order, but there should be a logical flow of information. Therefore, 5 is very unlikely to be before 1. But what's more important is that in this type of questions, in these note completion tasks, they cannot be from the whole text. They're typically from a few paragraphs. In fact, we can find out together now. Look, the last one, which is about written mainly in blah blah language. So this is the language part. I remember something about languages here. Majority of the text was in Hebrew. So, see, probably these 3 paragraphs will be where your answers can be found because of the nature of the text. The task, which is note completion, language, discovery, and everything in between. All right, that's it for today's video. If you'd like to see more of these videos analyzing Cambridge IELTS passages, these authentic practice materials, make sure to subscribe. And well, if you'd like to see more of these, from the same book or other books, there's this playlist that you can watch on our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions about the process or anything IELTS related, write your questions in the comment section below, and we'll answer them as soon as we can. Happy learning, and see you in the next one.